Welcome to the Moon Tales Anime Podcast. I'm your host, Law from the channel Justice, and here I have with me my co host, Azumi.
Hello.
Yes, hello. So today we're going to be discussing just generally um, episode structure and how it's kind of changed over time. It's more of like an abstract topic, but I guess we can begin with like how anime was when we were growing up. Like, stuff that we initially watched on TV and like general TV channels uh yeah, I have Canadian channels, so I was gonna say YTV, but you have no idea what that is.
I'm American.
America. But yeah, so anime like Pokemon, like Yu-Gi-Oh, like Bakugan, like all those things. They they were so episodic where like a problem pops up in the beginning of the episode and by the end of the episode it's resolved. It was kind of similar to other shows that are airing like sitcoms where you don't really see much development or changes between the beginning of the episode and the end of the episode. It's kind of just a loop. Like
Yeah,
there's not really a character arc, there's a plot arc, and then by it's more of a circle, like a plot circle, where at the end of it, it's kind of back to where you were. Although they did have a greater story at the very end, like Ash wants to go become Pokemon Master, so he's gonna go challenge the Pokemon League, or he's gonna fight this gym leader, or his Pokemon just evolved, so there's a minor change, or for the sake of Yu-Gi-Oh, like they finish a duel and they go to the next one, and there's definitely overarching plots, but they were created in a way so that you could have one episode randomly on TV and a kid would be like, I love this. This has everything that I like. I want to watch more of this. And
yeah,
when they did, it didn't matter if you were on episode 20 or episode 1 or episode 80. Like, you started the episode and you're like, okay, I know what's going on. And by the end, everything's resolved. And you could watch any episode in any order, and it, for the most part, would uh would make sense to a little kid watching.
yeah, it would.
Yeah. I um I I
Even
think as
without having much background.
yeah, I think that for that it is a great thing. Like, I think it helped anime, and not just anime, like other forms of media. It helps it perpetuate and get bigger. But as a form of storytelling, I feel like it doesn't really like I feel like it cheapens the moments because the moments that happen during an episode don't really translate to any development for any of the characters or the plot or anything. It just feels like you're just moving forward slightly, but if not at all, it kind of almost feels like you're watching filler at times, like where the next episode, no references are made to the last episode, and whatever conflict that's going on is completely brand new.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts?
Um, I mean, I enjoyed both cases where like episodic or not, I would enjoy them. Like there were some that would actually do them right. Like for example, Sailor Moon. Sailor Moon was episodic, but eventually, like gradually, you realize that it's actually more than that. Like there's a
Mm-hmm.
story here, and there's lives, there's background, there's a lot of messed up stuff happening, and you realize through the time, like, hey, this isn't just episodic.
Uh-huh.
This is a theme.
Is is this is are episodic structures more popular in shoujo and slice of life?
No, I don't. Well, in Sights of Life, yes. In shoujo, I'm not technically sure.
Okay, because I feel that's one of the things that drew me away from, one of the many things that make me dislike slice of life. But it's that by
Not
the end of
all Slice of Life are like that though. Like there's a lot, at least nowadays, that are different.
Yeah,
like,
but
but follow the story.
yeah. Um, yeah, I think episodic structures can do well. Like you said with Sailor Moon or other. In my example would be JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, Part 3 and Part 4 and Part 5 to some degree. All felt like they had they were they were fairly episodic, where a new antagonist comes in and they're either dealt with or they're made into an ally, and then next episode we're going to be doing something else. And always it feels like kind of like Inspector Gadget, where like, yeah, there's the big bad at the end, like Dr. Claw, I think it was an Inspector Gadget, but there's a big bad at the end, definitely. But in the moment it's like, all right, we're dealing with this problem and that is completely it. Whereas I feel like all the anime that I like love and enjoy, for the most part, I love JoJo and I think it's good, but it would have done better if it had more of a cohesive and non-episodic structure. Not to say that it isn't cohesive, but it just felt like there was a lot of pauses in the because this stand user comes and we're being attacked by the sun, or we're being attacked by this guy with his creepy goo, and it's like, okay, we deal with him and then now we move on. where
Yeah,
Whereas like that kind of felt like like Yu-Gi-Oh or Pokemon, where it's like, yeah, there's a cool new Pokemon, Ash attempts to catch it, or maybe he does, but not really anything happens besides Team Rocket comes in to try to steal Pikachu and then they fail. And it's like, all right,
yeah,
whatever. But I think though, like the modern episode, a modern anime, particularly in shonen, is getting to where they're seeing the success of anime like Naruto and One Piece, where a longer, more drawn out storyline still has people who love it. Like the initial marketing plan, I believe, was kind of create it episodic so that if someone sees one episode, then they're going to like it and they're going to want to do it. However, with social media and how popular anime is altogether, it anime doesn't really spread by like, oh, somebody watched a random episode on TV and now they love it. It spreads mostly by word of mouth, and that's how like the anime in the big three like Naruto, Bleach, One Piece were mainly popularized. And so anime like, let's say My Hero Academia, Black Clover, and the like are, and even just manga, they're written to where they're more on along the lines of being in a linear story, not to where it's more of a loop.
yeah,
Of course, both stories can be told well. Like, I'm not saying that one is worse. Like Mob Psycho, you haven't seen it either,
yeah. I
but
don't feel either is worse
I don't think
or
they're worse.
best.
It depends on the writer.
Yeah.
But Mob Psycho has like a really amazing way of tying both of those together. I feel like it's probably the closest thing to the way you described Sailor Moon, to where
Mhm.
like Mob will have like a minor interaction at school. Like one episode was just him trying to get with a girl or something like that, and like it's really not anything exciting, but at the end of it, he does have some sort of change. Sir, the problem came up and the problem left by the end of the episode, but he did have some internal change. I feel like that's when it's done well. When
Mhm.
when characters go into a certain episode and sure everything gets resolved, but they are slightly different, I feel like that makes episodic structures a lot better.
Yeah,
Um,
I agree.
yeah. What do you think of anime being changing from being more like continuous and ongoing, like One Piece and Naruto, where they're every week or almost every week out of the year an episode's coming out, to now where it's more seasonal anime?
Um, I don't know. I don't really really mind either one. Like, I think Naruto just continued to run off on like uh every week, like every other anime. Um, but it was just a long-term anime. You know what I mean? Like it was a long story. A lot of people supported it.
Even the
The
newer
more
longer
people support
stories,
you,
like My
the
Hero,
longer
yeah.
your story is gonna be.
No, but even the newer longer stories like My Hero Academia and Black Clover, who have like hundreds of chapters of manga that people want to animate, they're
Hmm.
moving towards the seasonal structure rather than an
Like
ongoing
12
series
episode
or 24 episodes and then
each
they
season.
stop. No, not each season, usually like once a year. They'll
Mm.
put out 24 episodes and then they'll stop. Like, I don't know if it's 24 or something like that. So essentially, out of like the 52 weeks in the year, they're doing only half. But
Mm.
there's pros and cons. The
It's
pros of
actually
it are,
pretty decent though.
yeah, the pros,
Kishimoto must have been overworking his staff.
yeah. No, the thing is, they probably were working at the right same pace, but
Yeah,
Kishimoto got got a lot of help from the filler. I feel
yeah.
like this one of I don't know if it's a pro or a con because I think yeah, it's just a simple fact. The pro or the con is depending on who what you like, but this new structure of seasonal anime is bringing filler to like its deathbed. Now, like because they're just let's say animating 12 to 24 episodes every year or every season or I mean every year,
Hmm.
then they don't need to have like the other 24 episodes be filler in the year. See, so it's good in a certain sense, like where you don't have like every week that the anime is airing, you're getting new content. But I also kind of miss the old days where like you could just
Yeah.
sit back and watch some anime filler. Like Bleach fillers were one of the best ever. Have you seen the Bleach? Have you seen Bleach?
I've seen 3 seasons. I don't remember a filler per se though. Like I feel everything ran with the story, you know?
Yeah, their fillers were really well put together. There was one filler arc where all their swords became had like became animated and they had their own voices and personalities. And I watched like 20 episodes of the filler until I realized it had nothing to do with the story because it was so well
Mm,
written. Like like G8. Oh, you haven't seen the One Piece anime, but there's the One Piece anime fillers were also really well done. But with the new seasonal series, they not only do they move away from episodic structures, they're they're usually completely like 24 episodes straight of just the manga arc. Like they'll
yeah.
encounter a new villain in the earlier episodes and they'll try and defeat them by the end of it or something along those lines, which is nice. I definitely do enjoy it, but I do miss the older style.
Hmm. I don't really miss it. It just gives me time to focus on every anime I'm watching.
Hmm, that is a very big pro. Like
Yeah,
because yeah, back in the day you'd have to just like if you wanted to binge it, you'd have to wait like a couple months and then just binge a bunch of episodes. But now
yeah.
like when the when it's airing in whatever season it's coming out, you can just binge it then.
Yep.
Hmm. I never really thought about it that way. Speaking of binging,
It's good to have.
how do you feel about binging like episodic versus like a longer like a storyline that's non-episodic? Let's just say episodic and non-episodic.
Um, I feel like I would be able to binge a non-episodic more than an episodic because eventually with an episodic I feel like even if it can be good, like I'll feel like I'm watching a new show each time, you know? So
Yeah.
I'll feel like, oh, I can watch this any day.
Yeah.
While with a non-episodic, you're always wondering like, oh, what's gonna happen next?
Yeah. That that's something I wanted to bring up, but I forgot. Like how episodic shows, it's always like, oh yeah, we're doing this. Means this problem came up, we solved it, and now we're moving on. Whereas non-episodic, it's always like, oh, this cliffhanger, and like, what's more iconic than the One Piece end credit screen that's just to be continued? Like everybody, everybody who's seen the anime, like just it's imprinted in your head because you're like hyped at the end of an episode or something, and then boom, to be continued.
Yeah.
um, yeah, like I love I love longer series, but I speaking not for me, but for people that I know of, they can like especially like I have a family member who they like the phrase they use is turning off their brain. Like I don't understand it either, but they like to just watch shows mindlessly, and apparently episodic structures
Well,
better because they don't have to pay
I think it's
attention.
better if they're doing something. Like if they want some like noise while they're doing, like, for example, maybe their homework, or maybe they're
No,
eating,
not that. They'll be like
and
watching. They'll be like watching it and they'll be like zoning out sometimes or just watching their phone and then like looking back and they enjoy the fact that they don't have to be glued to the screen. Whereas I enjoy the fact that if I'm watching a good series, I am glued to the screen and I'm analyzing every single piece of dialogue that comes through.
yeah, everyone's different.
Yeah.
With episodic, you don't have, I mean, yeah, with episodic, you don't have to worry about that
Yeah.
because there's nothing to miss.
Yeah.
But
Everything
with
has its
non-episodic,
mm-hmm.
um, there's an actual storyline. So if you like don't if you don't pay attention to one thing, you won't understand the other.
Yeah.
So I can understand what they feel, um, because I've done it.
Just zone out watching.
Zone out, but I'm not watching it for the purpose to zone out or anything. I can zone out on my own. But if I'm watching a show, I would rather zone out in a show that's episodic than something that's non-episodic, because then I have to rewatch.
Yeah.
Or
It's
I
never
feel I have
fun.
to rewatch it to understand the rest of the story.
Yeah. I need to get better at Japanese so I can start watching it like without looking at the subtitles.
Yeah.
But do you have any other thoughts on this subject?
No, that's
Oh,
all.
okay. All right then. I guess we can end it off here. You heard it here first. I hate episodic shows. I don't, but I don't. But I think like for the most part, for the most part, like non-episodic shows are better. Not not that the structure itself. I'm not saying the format is any better or worse, but the way that it's executed is far often better because a lot of the episodic shows that I've seen are like slice of life and the monotony of it all.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Why do you
let's
sound so depressed?
slice of life makes me depressed because why am I watching these high schoolers like do whatever like just be socially anxious or whatever it is like why do I care like it's if I wanted to like see like an anime if I wanted to see someone make their breakfast I would make my breakfast like I don't care
La,
about these
La,
things
you like basketball. Why do you watch basketball? Why don't you just go play it?
because I can't do basketball in that on that level. I am not
So,
LeBron James.
so
But
go
I will
pick up a
not
basketball and
watch
stop watching other
no, I
people.
won't watch an anime about basketball. Like I did
Now
watch
the same
Kuroko no
thing for
Basket.
people who are watching like an anime about
Like
cooking or art, for
no
example.
okay,
What if
but
they don't know how to what if they don't know how to do it
it's not
as
teaching
good
you
as them?
anything. It's not teaching you
It's
anything.
not teaching you anything.
But why do you
But
watch
it's
MasterChef?
enjoyable.
Why do you watch MasterChef?
It's
Because
enjoyable.
because yeah, it is enjoyable. And
It's
also,
funny.
Gordon Ramsay or whoever he has on can do things in the kitchen that we could never dream of.
Yeah, but we can
So
still attempt to. So why are we
yeah, but
watching other people do it? It's
because they can
entertaining.
do it good. And
No,
if I,
it's
the
because it's entertaining.
it's not just the entertaining part. Like basketball is entertaining because
You're
people
watching
are
it
competing at the
for
highest level.
entertainment.
But the anime, they're not doing anything at the highest level. It's literally two schoolgirls
They're
who are
literally
like
doing things at the highest
socially
level.
anxious. Like that's it. That's the story.
Okay?
And they can't tell
It's
their love interest.
entertaining. Everyone has a different
Okay, you're right. You're right.
different level of entertainment. Like everyone enjoys things differently.
You're right. I just
It
do
all
not
falls
enjoy it.
on the line of entertainment. Just
Right.
because you don't enjoy it doesn't mean you have to judge others and
I
criticize them
I do.
about what you do not enjoy.
I'm not criticizing them, but I'm
When
just
you're
saying.
basically a hypocrite,
Okay, I
but you
understand that.
refuse to acknowledge it.
Wait, how am I a hypocrite? Tell me.
Oh my god. Do you
I
not
I
remember the last few seconds?
oh, no. I said everything has their audience, and people like their stuff. But just because you like something doesn't mean I can't judge you for liking it.
No, you can do it, but like you're judging people for something similar that you do.
What?
Like, for example, like when I said the basketball thing, like
But
it's
they're doing
literally
something I
this.
can't do.
So,
The thing is,
whether they're
like
doing something you can or can't do, it's still for the source of entertainment.
I know, but entertainment is too broad. We're talking about what type of entertainment. If I was watching, let's say Doctor Stone, maybe I could do some of the stuff he does, but it's still like the way that he does it is more entertaining to me. Whereas in Slice of Life,
Yeah, maybe
they
someone, for example, someone watching an anime movie about people going through depression, or let's say they lost their friend, or
that's not bad. I don't have a
they
problem
have
with
a
that.
bad they have a bad they're getting bullied at school or some shit. Like
Okay, the bullied at school is kind of annoying.
they're
Like
entertaining to
I don't
them,
I don't find
or
like
it raises
anything relating to
awareness to some
school
people,
entertaining. And I feel
or
like it's overused. Like
oh
I
my
wish
god.
they would start using more like maybe university slice of life anime, because the setting of high school just feels like so overdone. And the problems that high schoolers have,
I actually
I
think
just
it's good.
cannot relate to. Even when I was in high school, I couldn't relate to it.
I feel like it gives a sense of like, because teenagers are in like the stages of where they're trying to get to know themselves and what they love and what they want to do in their lives, and they're not exactly sure yet. I feel it gives off a better story because these people still don't know what they want. So it's easier for them, it's easier for us to see development in them as they get
Okay,
older.
okay, but I don't know.
Not
The ones that
everyone is
I've
the
seen.
same, of course. You won't relate to every single story that you see that revolves around high school, but that doesn't mean it's not realistic.
Oh, another topic I want to just
Oh,
briefly talk about with episodic things. I feel like, especially when the anime is shorter, episodic things really detract from the story because it doesn't allow you time to bond with the characters. And maybe that's another reason why I don't really care for slice of life, because sure, episode 1 it might show them getting bullied for something, but I really haven't gotten an emotional attachment to that character. Like this is the this is the epitome of that joke that's like, oh yeah, I saw these 6 kids bullying a kid today. Oh, I had to step in. That 6-1 isn't a good enough odds. It had to be seven
you
to
had
one.
to step in.
I had to step in, make it 7-1. But
No, it's fine if you don't like it.
yeah. But by the way, I wasn't. I wasn't judging people for liking it, even though I probably should. I was
You
saying,
were. You were
I was
literally
saying I won't do it because I can do all
saying
the stuff
I
that
can
they do.
just because it's just because okay.
What? What? What?
What?
You just stopped in the middle of your sentence.
Oh, I did. All I said was okay.
No, you were saying something. You're like, okay. You just stop. We can wrap it up now.
Okay.
All right. Well, everyone, this has been an
Bye, everyone.
bye, everyone. This is where we say
We love you.
arrivederci for Jojo.
Arrivederci.
It's just Italian. Well, you're speaking Italian with a Japanese accent. Yes, it is Jojo. You know that, right?
Yes, I know. That's why I'm singing
Arrivederci.
JoJo.
Okay. Anyways, all right. Take care, everyone. Do do do.
Bye.